What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Comics Clash. It's Isaiah, and today I'm going to be giving you my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time. So comic book movies are the most popular film genre, and we recently got a comic book mega hit in The Batman. So I thought it'd be a great idea to share my top 10 favorite comic book movies with you guys. Comic book movies are definitely my favorite genre of film, and it's what made me fall in love with movies. So with that said, let's dive into the video. I'm going to be starting off with some honorable mentions that are very close to making this list, but did not quite make it. Starting off with Man of Steel. Man of Steel is an absolutely amazing Superman origin story. Definitely the best origin story for the character of Superman. I absolutely love it. Hans Zimmer's score is my favorite score of all time. It's absolutely amazing. The flight score is perfect. The suit is awesome. Henry Cavill's an amazing actor in this film. The action is very well choreographed, and I really love Man of Steel. Next up, we have the Suicide Squad, coming out last year. The characters in this film are amazing, and so are the visuals. The direction here is awesome. It's gory, it's bloody, it's a great time. The comedy hits hard, and so does the emotion. I absolutely love the Suicide Squad. It was awesome. Next up on the honorable mentions is The Dark Knight. Now, The Dark Knight, it's probably a controversial opinion that is not in my top 10. I absolutely love this movie. It's awesome, and Joker is my favorite comic book villain of all time, and he's portrayed here in a spectacular way. But the reason that this one is not in my top 10 is I feel like Batman isn't very heroic in this film, and this is not very much a Batman film. I would say it's more a look in society and how Gotham City works and how all the villains play out, and Joker is the most portrayed character in this film, and he's very deep and complex, and that's what I really like about this film. But I wouldn't say Batman's a very heroic in this film. He doesn't do anything very heroic. He doesn't really help the people. That's why I put this film a bit lower and not on my list, but it's still an amazing film. It made my honorable mentions. I absolutely love it. The Dark Knight is pretty awesome. Alright, next up, going to the Marvel side of my honorable mentions, we have Spider-Man 2, an amazing sequel with an amazing cast, and it's an amazing Spider-Man film, definitely the best of the Raimi trilogy, and Doc Ock is a spectacular villain. And then we got Guardians of the Galaxy, a great team of film where James Gunn puts these band of misfits together and creates an absolutely epic film that I absolutely love. Every character you fall in love with, you get emotionally connected with. They are all awesome. They are all unique. My favorite being Groot and Rocket. Their dynamic is so sweet and emotional, and I really like it. They have such a great buddy bond, and Guardians of the Galaxy is awesome. Iron Man 1 is my next honorable mention, the movie that started the MCU. It's still great. It has the classic superhero formula, but it is played to perfection. Robert Downey Jr. is definitely the best cast for Iron Man. I think he's awesome. This whole film is just very good, and it's a great kickoff to the MCU. And my final honorable mention is Deadpool. Definitely the funniest comic book movie I've ever seen. It's absolutely hilarious. Ryan Reynolds plays this amazing, funny Deadpool character that I absolutely love. The vigilantism in this, the gore, the blood, everything is awesome. It's so well portrayed. I actually really like it. And you kind of get emotionally connected with Deadpool in a weird way because he's a killer. He's an insane person, but you actually feel an emotional bond with him, and that's what I really like about this film. And yeah, Deadpool it's an awesome film. Alright, with that said, we got all the honorable mentions out of the way, so it's time to give you my top 10 favorite comic book films of all time. Kicking off the top 10 is The Dark Knight Rises. The Dark Knight Rises is definitely my favorite of the Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. I absolutely love it. I feel like it's a very inspirational film, and it poses Batman as a hero. That's why I like this one film better than The Dark Knight. I think Batman's very heroic in this film. Sacrifices himself, and he sacrificed so much for the city and to protect the people. I really like this film. It's absolutely amazing. Bane is a very menacing, cool villain. Anne Hathaway as Catwoman was insanely good. I just think this whole film's very great. The one thing I do not like, though, is that at the end they say the autopilot is fixed, and that just kind of ruins Bruce Wayne's death, or we could assume death, because he does get that scene with Alfred at the end of the film. So I'm not 100% sure. I kind of interpret it as Bruce Wayne didn't want to be Batman anymore, and that's not very heroic. So it was a little bit hard for me to follow with that and how the autopilot was fixed. But other than that, this film's an amazing, inspirational Batman film that I absolutely love. Next up on the list, we have Spider-Man No Way Home, the epic conclusion to the Spider-Man character that is absolutely perfect. It brings all three of our Spider-Man together and teams them up in a brilliant way that has so much payoff, much emotion, so much heart. It's absolutely beautiful. It's an amazing tribute to the character. It's a great story. The ending suit is amazing. And I will say one thing, the villains did kind of suck. And like, how hard is it to make a Sinister Six? All you need is six compelling villains and then just team them up to fight Spider-Man. Like, it's not that hard. But anyway, yeah, other than that, this movie is awesome. The jokes are amazing. The emotional moments are amazing. The tributes to the past films are very well done. Absolutely love this film. It's a great tribute to the character, and it's just a beautiful film. Next up on the list is Captain America Civil War. What I absolutely love about this film is that it pits our heroes against each other. Our heroes have different worldviews and different ways as they perceive the Sokovia Accords and how they're supposed to act. And I really like how our heroes' worldviews can come between their friendships. And it's a great film. Everyone gets their moment to shine. You get to see why everyone's on the side that they are on. Everything makes sense. It all falls together very nicely. It's a great film. The airport battle is one of my favorite superhero battles of all time. And then the final battle with Cap and Iron Man is so emotional and gut-wrenching, and I absolutely love it. It's a great final battle. I think this film is awesome. It's just such a good way to see how our heroes perceive things differently and how they can be against each other sometimes and how they don't always agree. And I think this film's awesome. Cinematography is awesome, and the introduction to our new characters is very, very cool. In seventh place, we have the latest comic book film, The Batman. Now, this is definitely my favorite Batman interpretation. Robert Pattinson is my favorite Batman actor. He portrays Batman in such a unique and different way. It goes full into the detective mode of Batman, which we don't really get to see, but I absolutely love it. I love seeing how Batman can really figure out these clues on his own. He doesn't really need too much help. He's absolutely amazing at figuring things out and putting things together. And I love how he perceives the world and what's going on inside of Gotham City. The Riddler is a menacing, scary villain that absolutely works in this film. The darker tone of this movie is awesome, and the Riddler's plan was amazing. You can see where he's coming from, and I love it when the bridges break and the explosions happen, and how Batman has to become a true hero and help everyone out. It's absolutely amazing. A great finale to the movie. It's just such a good film. The supporting actors are amazing too. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman worked so well, and Colin Farrell as Penguin was great too. Jeffrey Wright, Commissioner Gordon. Everyone was so well in this film. It's dark, it's gritty, it's entertaining, it's awesome. Next up, we have the original Avengers. Now, the original Avengers is an absolute superhero classic. This is what built the comic book genre. Without the Avengers, I wouldn't say the comic book genre would have built to become what it is today. The Avengers made it what it is, and it's still a perfect comic book film. Our characters are absolutely amazing. They're so likable, and when they come together and save the day, it's awesome. Loki is a great villain, and you can kind of see his manipulative ways and how he does things to get what he wants, and he's a very interesting villain that I really love, and I think he works so well in this film. All our heroes get their moments to shine. Everyone does their part so well. I think this film is awesome. The comedy hits hard, and it just baffles me how Joss Whedon could mess up a superhero film with the exact formula as this film, which he perfected, and then made it absolute garbage in Justice League. But I don't really care, but The Avengers is an amazing comic book film, and it made the genre what it is today. Kicking off the top 5 is Avengers Infinity War. This film puts all our heroes together, the Avengers, the Guardians, and the solo heroes, and puts them up against Thanos. Thanos is such an interesting villain because he makes so many sacrifices to get these stones and achieve his goal, and he actually does. You could not see it coming from a mile away. Never has in a film has the villain actually won, and in this film he does, and that's what makes this film so great. You cannot predict the ending from a mile away, and it's so interesting. I absolutely love it. Thanos is such a cool villain. He is one of the best comic book villains of all time, and then all our heroes shine. They all work together in an amazing way, and the battle for Wakanda is an amazing Avengers battle. This film is just so great. The comedy is amazing. The script is awesome. The battle scenes are very good. Some of the CGI is a little bit over the top, but I can ignore that from the amazing plot and story that this film has. I absolutely love it, and it is worth the 10 years of build-up that the MCU was working towards. I think Avengers Infinity War is an absolutely amazing film. In fourth place is Joker, the film about the villain. This film is absolutely amazing. It gets you to sympathize with a sociopath, with a killer, And it's just such a great film. It really shows how society has put the Joker down in a place where he can't escape. So he becomes this villain. He kills and he does what he needs to do. And I absolutely love this film because it really gets you to see the Joker for who he really is, how much abuse he has come into, how the society has treated him. And it's just such an amazing film. It's very interesting to see the Joker's complex and where he's coming from. It's such a great film. The cinematography is awesome, and I just think Joaquin Phoenix gives an award-winning performance as the Joker. It's just a well-written, well-directed film about a villain that you can actually sympathize with, and that's why this movie is absolutely spectacular. Kicking off the top three is Zack Snyder's Justice League. This film is absolutely amazing. I just rewatched it a couple days ago and it still lives up to my expectations. I think it's an amazing film. It's so well directed. The visuals are insanely good. Each character gets their moment to shine. Everyone's so well developed. You get to fall in love with all these characters and they're such an amazing team that you want to root for. It's such a dark, different film that I absolutely love. Zack Snyder's vision was perfect. After reflecting on all three of his movies in the DCEU, I just think he is such an amazing director, definitely one of my favorite comic book directors of all time, and it's just such a unique, amazing trilogy, and he concludes it perfectly with Zack Snyder's Justice League. Steppenwolf is a villain that you can actually kind of see where he's coming from, you can sympathize with him a little bit. All their characters are unique and amazing. The scene where Flash time travels back in time to save the day was amazing. The themes, the music, the score, everything was so awesome. The cinematography, I absolutely love Zack Snyder's Justice League. It is the best DC film I've ever seen, and it is definitely in my top 10 favorite movies of all time. It's absolutely spectacular. Our runner-up is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. You can see the poster in the background. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is my favorite animated movie of all time, and it's absolutely spectacular. Miles Morales is such an amazing character, and he portrays Spider-Man in such a unique and interesting way. I absolutely love his character. He's not Peter Parker, but he is Spider-Man. It's like the best line in the film was at the end where he's like, anyone can wear the mask. You could wear the mask. It was amazing. His whole script was amazing. All our characters were likable and unique and different, and they all worked together to take down a villain like Kingpin, and Kingpin was an awesome villain. You can kind of see his motives, where he's coming from. He's a compelling villain that's very interesting. I absolutely loved him. And then all our Spider-Mans teaming up was absolutely amazing. The animation style is so unique and different and beautiful, and it's so great. And my favorite scene in any movie of all time is in this film, where the leap of faith scene, it is so spectacular. I absolutely love it. This film is spectacular, and it's my runner-up. So that means that my number one film must be even better, and it is. My favorite comic book movie of all time is Avengers Endgame. And I know that might be a little bit cliche because it's the one comic book movie that everyone around the world knows. But Avengers Endgame is just so perfect. 11 years of full buildup of this universe and this beautiful conclusion in Avengers Endgame. It's just so well done. Every character gets their moment to shine. All like 30, 40 Avengers, they all do something that's memorable. They all team up, and it's such an amazing film. Thanos is so awesome. The time travel scenes are awesome. You don't feel the 3-hour runtime. I think this film is spectacular. It's the perfect conclusion to the MCU, but we all know the MCU keeps on going. Now, I'm gonna say this. I feel like the MCU will be dying kind of soon. Like, I can still see that they're making quality content like Spider-Man No Way Home and soon to be Multiverse of Madness. But what are you gonna do after that? Once you bring all the characters into this one huge universe, you've already killed off some of your hugest heroes like Iron Man, Captain America, and Black Widow. What are you gonna do next? So it's kind of hard for me to see that Marvel will continue for more than 10 years from now, but they are the biggest comic book movie genre of all time, and Avengers Endgame was a spectacular conclusion to the franchise, which I absolutely love. Such a beautiful film with amazing lines, great character moments, and just amazing conclusion to the franchise. I think it's awesome. Avengers Endgame is the perfect superhero movie, and it is definitely my favorite movie of all time. So that was my top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time. What are your top 10 favorite comic book movies of all time? Let me know. We might not agree, and that's okay, because comic book movies are such a wide, different, vast genre, and they have so many different, unique kind of films. So you can like any kind of comic book film, and that's okay. So with that said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.